What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with career mode, this time for episode number 4. It feels so weird to say such a low episode number, but that is the case with a new F1 game. Welcome back to another episode of my team. Check out the Breaking Point episode I covered earlier on today. It was the end of the 2020 season and quite a spicy episode. But without further ado, let's get into the daily problems of Marduk Motorsport. We have another event which the team need our attention.
Hate to drop this on you, but we could do with your expertise on this.
Oh, you hate to drop it on me, do you? Well, that's all you seem to do these days. Can't focus on the sim work, can't focus on my own training. Always sorting out your squabbles. Anyway, there's some burnouts for the powertrain staff. If we spend the cash, then we can boost the morale. So that's what we're going to do. It's not a huge amount of money, and we could do with the morale boost, I reckon.
You handled that well. Thank you.
So there we go. The higher the morale, the less chance there is of failures, and I think you even can get discounts on those kind of upgrades in the future if the morale is better. So, R&D time. Can't do anything on the downforce side, which is actually, I'd say, a bit of a weakness for us. I felt like there was so much understeer at Monaco, the high-speed corners. I would love to do that, but the department efficiency or the department capacity has been reached. We have to wait for other upgrades to go on first. This is a major weight reduction for the chassis, and we've decided to commit resources to that. That'll go on if it passes in time for the French Grand Prix. So a couple of races out. However, if we can get that on the car, that'll be a major scalp for us. Aero-wise, we had a rear wing main plane failure for rear downforce, unfortunately. We don't have the money to fix that right now, but we will probably after this race, so we'll get that rectified. But yeah, not an ideal scenario when we're falling behind in terms of development. We need to upgrade the facilities to spec level 2. Basically, yeah, we need more money to upgrade facilities. We need more resource points coming in because we're just getting left behind a little bit at this early stage of the career mode. Still a long way to go, but we've got to keep grinding if we want to, keep pace with the other teams around us. But yeah, it's looking like this is not going to be like any other career mode in previous years. The AI really are getting a roll on in terms of the development, which makes life harder for me, but that's fine because arguably in years gone by, the games have been too easy, and this is what I've wanted. So here we go, heading into the new weekend, it being Baku. We have a couple of upgrades from Renault come in, power unit wise, so that's handy. Gives us a small uptake in performance. We are getting caught though by Haas and Williams, so a little bit concerning. Let's try to avoid becoming the worst team in F1. I've never gone backwards before in terms of development, and I don't intend on starting today. So here we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Anything is possible at this place. Street circuit, castle section. I'm hoping for some carnage up the front. We're going to need it if we are to get some points today. But, those timely engine upgrades could help us get some points if we are very lucky. Anyway, Friday practice, trying to get the track acclimatization programs going. But a DRS failure has other ideas. Meaning, we couldn't even open the DRS on the track acclimatization lap, which prevented us from getting the purple score and extra points for resources. So that's absolutely lovely. We're moving to practice 2 now and practice 3. I've decided to do the quick practice programs. This is really handy if you want to avoid doing on-track running time, which saves a bunch of time. I usually use practice to get my eye in, to get used to the game. Once I feel like I've got my eye in, I'm going to do this, which is what I've done this weekend. So it enables us to, for the most part, maximize everything in terms of getting resource points. But there's a bit of risk and reward with what you target. You can see there, if you go for a lower % success rate, it'll take less time, but there's a higher chance you'll have to try and do it again. And I think in practice 2, I went for the 50% option like multiple times and it failed. So I kind of learnt my lesson. And for practice 3 here, we went the safe route and just used up more time to guarantee the practice programs being done. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know down in the comments and I'll explain it for you. But yeah, resource points coming in. I think we got like 375-ish, which is our standard amount. Again, teammate not really doing much. This time, Marcus Armstrong got like less than 100 resource points coming in. He is really slacking, and this is becoming a bit of a trend. This dude, I mean, like his pace issues is one thing, but just completely slacking on the resource gain at the start of the weekend, that's not on. It's almost like he doesn't care if the car gets faster or not. He's happy with being a back marker. Oddly enough. But anyway, that is Friday practice dealt with. Engine wear is quite high, and I put that down to all the practice programs or extra sessions we've been running. So, going to take column 2, heading into quali. Hopefully, that can give us a boost in performance. That is a beautiful cutscene. It's so cool to see my real-life helmet in the game. Anyway, here we go for qualifying. As you'd expect, we're gonna struggle to get out of this qualifying session. So I'm employing some tactics here. We're gonna get towed along by the factory Renault or Alpine team, our engine supplier, and work with Ocon to get a good lap time. Nikita Mazepin getting in the way though. Thankfully, he pulls to the side and doesn't disrupt us too much. But yeah, we lost a lot of touch with Ocon over the course of the lap. So yeah, we are pretty slow, it seems, even with the new engine, unfortunately. We're going to go for another lap and see if I can improve that. Because I feel like I got a little bit distracted by Mazepin on the last lap. That's a nice little nudge of the barrier. Absolutely fine, though. Those minor nudges are usually okay. But yeah, the corner where we got past Mazepin is where we made up the most time over the course of the lap. Improving by 0.4. That puts us in P18, eventually dropping down to second last by the time everyone puts a time in. However, that was it for qualifying for us. I tried to go out again. Didn't get a time in that was good enough. Made a mistake on my lap, and that was that. Armstrong managing to improve by, I think, 0.4 over his previous best, to clear us by 0.1. So we're starting last for the second Grand Prix in a row.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Oh dear. So this gives me flashbacks to F1 2017 McLaren career mode, where we were really struggling. I'm actually going to take some new power unit components for this race. Again, we're going to dip into column 3. We're going to get an extra energy store and an extra control electronics. And we're going to take a penalty for taking all the components under Parc Fermé. So there we go. We're going to start still in last. But the benefit is we get some extra components for the rest of the season. So it's a necessary sacrifice.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Vettel, Leclerc, Stroll, Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, and Fernando Alonso, Raikkonen, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Russell. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Sergio Perez and Pierre Gasly. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Armstrong, Tsunoda, Latifi and Benjamin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
No message from Jeff then for the start of the race, which is odd because he loves to pipe up at just about every opportunity. Here we are on the grid of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Also, Jeff forgot to take off the No Heroics in the Saint Devote sticker. So that's obviously attributed to the bad luck we've had so far. Cheers, Jeff, for that. But anyway, here we are for the race. Weighing up what to do in terms of race strategy. It says medium hard for this race. But I always want to weigh out my options, especially when we're starting towards the back. And realistically, we have nothing to lose. Checking out I was actually trying to do a one-stop medium to soft, see if that would be at all possible or even faster. It's not. So we switched to the two-stop and we're just toggling between personalized and the projected race time. So if you guys can do practice programs, the race run, it gives you tire and fuel sim data that you can plug into your race based on how much you use of the fuel, how much you use of the tires. And this is the estimate we get by pressing the triangle button equivalent on the controller. Anyway, I'm not going to play with the fuel. It's been a dangerous few occasions where I've tried to take out fuel, and it's really caused me pain. So we're just going to leave it for this Grand Prix, especially based on the fuel numbers we got in practice. And there we go. We're going to go into the race. Still have no idea which strategy is going to be the right one, but we're going to rock the mediums to start off this race and probably go to the hard compound tires. Away we go, and it looks like a good start up against Nicholas Latifi. We had quite a few people getting grid penalties off the start as we head down into turn one. Side by side with our teammate Marcus Armstrong, we get the measure on him. Trying to go the inside of Tsunoda and Schumacher, I think it is, down into turn two. We nearly got Sergio Perez, who is starting way down the order in this Grand Prix. Again, Red Bull absolutely struggling to get on top of their reliability. They might have a fast car, but they sure don't have a car that can consistently stay at the front and score good points, which is ultimately going to cost them the title in this season, I'd have to say. We'll see what happens when Codemasters update the performance and the other teams can get a buff. But anyway, we got the inside of Russell at that right-hander. Still side by side though, so we'll have to dive him as we head into the castle section at turn 7. And now as we head into turn 8, we are clearly ahead and in P16. So half a lap done and we've gained 6 spots. That is pretty solid, if you ask me. But in terms of gaining any more positions in this race, well, that might be difficult. As you can see, we're running out of ERS at the end of that straight, falling quite vulnerable to those behind. But thankfully, we're able to stay ahead. That's our first warning of the race. 3 of those on strict corner cutting rules. And that's a 3-second time penalty heading your way at the end of the Grand Prix. So, lap 2, settling into things. We're actually starting to catch up to the next group of cars. That's all because Mazepin, Ocon and company is starting to squabble a little bit. I think it was Ocon who was squabbling the most out of those guys. I actually thought he had some front wing damage. Such was the amount of squabbling that was going on between all those guys. Now we're setting up a move on Mazepin. We go around the outside down into turn 1. And that is job done. P15 for the taking in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. There's yellow flag as we head down into turn 1. That's Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. The very man who got a podium in this race in real life. No such acclaims heading his way in this Grand Prix. Is there a safety car though? No, is the answer.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there. We're attempting to manage it.
What? What kind of issue, Jeff? Jeff, what kind of issue have we got? It's kind of important to let your driver know what kind of issue is happening. Checking the damage indicator. There's nothing.
It's not good news, I'm afraid. Seems like an engine issue.
Engine issue. Brilliant. You kind of need an engine to go fast in an F1 car. Literally, there's nothing going on. The engine is not overheating. It's not wearing out at a ridiculous rate. It doesn't look like it's about to blow up. It's not smoking. And I've even checked the top speeds of the top speed at the end of the back start-finish straight. Doing 195 miles an hour. I'm doing a little bit more now. But it matches up with like the first lap or two. So I'm kind of confused what this issue is and what the disadvantage is, because I can't feel it. I can't see it even in editing. If you guys know what it is, I'd love to know. Maybe it's ERS. It's not recovering as fast as normal. But again, I can't really notice anything, to be honest. So I'm kind of in the dark on this one. Anyway, we're now getting overtaken by Lewis Hamilton, effective race leader. Everyone on the soft compound tyres coming in early for their early stops. And Hamilton is going into the pit lane again. What's that about? We're overtaking Mazepin as well as we go around the outside down into turn 1. Thank you very much. The slipstream is ridiculous on this game. If you have DRS, you are absolutely flying past someone. Hamilton there, yeah, that does confirm he's now on a 2-stop strategy. He stayed out for 1 lap on mediums and is on the hard. So he must have got front wing damage. Had to change that in the stop. And that's going to turn out to be a very compromising day for the 7-time world champion. Where was I? What was I talking about? I don't know. I think, yeah, it was a bit of tit for tat with Mazepin a bit. It's very hard to defend on F1 2021 when you don't have rich fuel mixture anymore. And the engine doesn't really overheat so much in this game. That was actually a bit of strategy. If you could keep someone behind, as we now get overtaken by Leclerc, if you could get the driver behind to overheat their engine a little bit, you have a bit more of a fighting chance. But now, you can't put it up in a rich. It's a bit harder to overheat the engine. And as such, anyone who just sits and chills in the slipstream will fly right past you. There's Verstappen on my right-hand side. I'm not going to get involved in that battle between these two. We're just going to chill and hope to get dragged along with slipstream and DRS for as long as we can. But, you know, with how slow we are, how old the tyres are, how rubbish they feel, to be honest, we're not going to be able to stay with anyone for a moderate amount of time. So we're just getting mobbed by everyone. This is Sainz now getting up the inside in the Ferrari. He's also made his stop on much fresher tyres, much faster car. Tsunoda, though, sit rep on him. He is on our strategy. He's on the same age tyres as us. So we should be able to put up a bit more of a fight, but it's not worth it. It's honestly not worth fighting these guys. We may as well let them go through, try and take their slipstream and DRS, and get dragged along for the ride. Because my pace towards the back end of these tyre stints are pretty bad. Like, I need to work on, yes, my driving style and adapt a little bit, but I'm not driving horribly. I think collectively I need to get better at looking after the tyres and driving well when the tyres have gone off. The rear tyres have gone off so quickly in today's race. The tyre imbalance, the tyre wear imbalance is crazy. So I got to a point on the mediums where I was just sliding around quite a bit, heading into most corners, and just trying to hold on really was proving to be very difficult. But now you can see we're getting attacked by Pierre Gasly. He's actually hit the wall there, and we'll need to grab a replay to see what happened here, because I think he might have actually touched me as we head down into this left-hander. I tried to leave space, but the problem is that corner, that apex, is a real pinch point. And I tried to go in as slow and leave as much space as I could, but Pierre did mount the curb. And I think arguably he could have done a bit more to avoid this. He could have slowed down a bit more and just turn in earlier, mount a bit more of the curb, and just try to avoid contact and take the corner cutting warning. But there we go. He's in the barrier. He's lost his wing, and we have a safety car in this race. So this is going to throw a bit of a spanner into the works, especially for those 2 stoppers, I believe. They probably wanted to run mediums for the rest of the race, but they're probably going to have to use hards to get to the end safely. That's not to say that mediums probably could work, especially that we're going to do a few laps on the safety car, so that might be all right. But yeah, I was thinking about pinning on the safety car, but I thought we only just put on these hard compound tyres. We may as well stick with them and keep the track position that we do already have. So away we go for green flag running. We're in P15 5 more spots, and we are in the points. Science going defensive down into turn 1. He turns defense into attack as he gets up the inside of Nikita Mazepin. We're looking back from Yuki Tsunoda, I believe, as we head into turn 2. Just getting roadblocked by these guys. It's a bit futile to battle Signs, but overtaking a Haas, that is definitely within the realms of possibility. So we'll see if we can get him. Mazepin really fighting hard here and is able to stay in the fight quite well. We dive up the inside into here, and we get the job done. Thank you very much. That's P14 now, as we got a warning for a collision, which I am absolutely bemused by because I don't feel like we made contact. Anyway, Mazepin is fighting back. I had a terrible run through that left-right chicane, and here goes Mazepin. He cuts the corner to get up the inside. We're side by side as we head into the castle section now. We have the inside, which is king, and we hold P14 for the time being. So let's hopefully keep this guy at bay. He is very, very fast in that Haas F1 car. It's proving for me to take all my concentration, all my pace in the car to really keep him at bay. Meanwhile, this is the battle ahead. This is Hamilton versus Tsunoda versus Carlos Sainz. They have gapped me by a few seconds, but now they're squabbling. It's going to invite me and Mazepin back into the fray. So I'm imploring these guys to keep battling because this increases my chances of actually getting some points today. All we got to do is overtake Hamilton and the rest, and we've got points in this race. But with these things, if the AI kind of calm down and settle into their rhythm again, they're going to pull away from me because I don't have the kind of pace to run with those guys. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll is in P2. Valtteri Bottas is leading the Grand Prix. The 2-stop and the safety car has really thrown a spanner into the works. Hamilton's had a shocker. Sergio Perez starting down the order. I don't know what's happened to Verstappen, but I think he's in P3. We get mobbed by Mazepin and Ocon, and it looks like we might have potentially lost touch with that points running battle. Because, yeah, this squabbling here is going to mean we're just going to lose touch. And there's only 7 laps to go. Our tyres are a couple laps older than those around us and harder as well. So the pace isn't going to be great. But I'm hoping that we might have better pace than the medium compound runners in the last couple laps as we dive up the inside of Esteban Ocon. But you can see there, the rear tyres, the rear end is very skittish. There's not much mechanical grip on the rear end. The front is quite stiff, but just the tyre wear is so heavily biased towards the rear tyres that it just means that we lose all confidence in the car after a certain amount of laps, and we're getting to that point where we can't really push in the high-speed corners. As you can see, Ocon absolutely squeezing us towards the barrier. Gasly squeezes through as well for P14. It looks like Gasly is going to get Ocon as well, as they run side by side down into the middle sector, and Gasly is through. So yeah, it's unfortunate that even on the hard compound tyre up against medium compound runners, the tyres aren't faring well in the old tyre wear battle, which is a shame. That was a petty overtake from me on Ocon. I really just kind of dived up past him in spite of squeezing me into the barrier on the last lap. But he gets me anyway. It's a futile effort. Ocon is going to run away with that position, and I've just got no answer, to be honest. And we've lost DRS, we've lost slipstream. We're now getting caught up by Daniel Ricciardo on hard compound tyres. I don't know how many stops he's done in this race. At least 2. But he now gets through in the McLaren. He should be on the podium, but instead he's fighting me for P14. And he's probably having a day to forget, to be honest. As are we with the tyre wear. Yuki Tsunoda makes an extra stop and comes out on fresh soft compound tyres and just re-overtakes us. So, looks like the tyre wear was pretty crazy today. Maybe it would have been better if I did a 2-stop. We just can't seem to hold on to any pace in the car. And I can't really put it down to that car fault, because that self-rectified itself a few laps ago. So, yeah, just a lack of pace today. We're now starting to battle the people who are close to us car performance-wise. This is George Russell now trying to overtake me in the dying laps of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I am putting out my best fight here, but he's on fresher hard compound tyres, and I'm not sure how long I can, keep him behind me for, especially with that Mercedes engine in the back of that Williams. Absolutely flies past on the straight. As we head on to the last lap, it looks like it's going to be P16 in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You can just see how much the car is almost skating into the corners. Like I said, we really need to work on the tyre wear, I think, is the big takeaway from this race. But overall, we are just lacking pace. We're lacking a lot of things in this Marduk Motorsport car, and that's what we've got the rest of this season to work on. As Valtteri Bottas dominates the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin is going to rewrite history and take P2 instead of Sebastian Vettel getting on the podium. But looking behind me, we've got Nikita Mazepin, who's caught me up by almost 2 seconds on this lap and is looking likely to snatch this position away from me at the death. We're going to put it up into overtake. We have 20% battery left. We're going to dump the battery now to try and keep him behind. He's going to have DRS, though, in that Ferrari-powered Haas. He's so close, though. But here he comes with a slipstream with the DRS. He's going to get me. He's going to steal P16.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Can't believe it. I couldn't even keep P16. What a horrible day. Absolutely horrible.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Well, there we go. That is quite a sobering Grand Prix from a Marduk Motorsport perspective. We had the engine issue, which, again, I don't think it slowed us down, but we tried our hand with the one stop. We got ourselves in actually some decent track position, but Baku being Baku, this is the easiest track to overtake on, probably on the whole F1 calendar. You're not going to hold on to those track positions with slipstream and DRS being as potent as what it is, and us running a Renault engine. Maybe we ran too much downforce as well. I think it was like 8.5 wings, something ridiculous. Time trial setup, I know, but it's the best we have for now. Yeah, it's P17. There was absolutely no hope of us scoring points today. We probably would have needed like a late race safety car, and we would have needed to bolt on some softs or something to even trouble the point scorers today. But regardless, it's more progress, it's more data, it's more information that we're picking up and learning. Obviously, we now know that the tyre wear really needs to be worked on in terms of upgrades. There's a lot of things we need to work on with the car, and that'll all come with time. But for now, we're doing the best job with what we have, and it's good in a way that we had such a good start to the season. 2 points finishes in the first 2 races. It's given us something to defend with, I suppose. Without those first 2 races, we'd be looking pretty poor in this season, I'd say. But yeah, doing the best job we can to hold on, and then just working on upgrades to get back in the fight with the midfield and point-scoring runners is the aim, I'd say. But yeah, Marcus Armstrong, he had an okay race. I think I was looking at the, if you rewind the video, you'll see the fastest laps from everyone. I was the slowest person on circuit. So despite that, to get P17 and actually beat 5 or 6 drivers, not bad. We picked and chose our battles fairly well, I'd say, and just did the best job we could to hold on the dead tyres. But there we go. We got 2 mil in terms of cash reserves now. So that should mean we'll be able to upgrade something decent in the facilities in the next episode of my team. So let me know what you think we should upgrade. I'm thinking personally, probably resource point generation or upgrade time to get upgrades in faster. We just need upgrades in. Basically, that's the crux of it. and we need them quickly. Not too sure what the next race is now, but either way, it shall be a good Grand Prix. We'll give it a good crack. Use new engines today. Had the engine problem on the new engine as well, which was rather confusing. But yeah, it's all a learning experience. We've got lots to learn from this Grand Prix to apply it and be better in the next one. But I'm really enjoying the grind. I'm glad that it's not super easy. I'm glad that it's a lot harder than in previous games, because when we do start to do well, it's going to be that much more rewarding and enjoyable, I think, for everyone. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. The support on these videos has been absolutely crazy. I can't quite upload them fast enough, hence why this video is so late today, but I'm doing my best job, and I'll hopefully see you guys again tomorrow for some more F1 2021 career mode or breaking points. I've actually got a co-op career mode coming out tomorrow, so look forward to that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.